Hey everyone, Jake here for AmericanTrucks, and in this video we're taking a look at these Renegade series daytime running light projector headlights with black housings and clear lenses fitting 2015 to 2017 F-150s with factory halogen headlights. If you want to bring some of that Raptor style look to your F-150 and also get some improved lighting output, these are going to be just your speed. With a cool modern style and some fun features, they're a definite improvement over your stock halogens, and they won't break the bank either. While you could go and spend a small fortune on a new set of headlights for your F-150, you really don't need to do that in order to get some good looks and improved lighting output. The Renegade series projectors we have here prove exactly that. Now, as the name would suggest, the main beams here are projectors. So these utilize standard bulbs, H7s in this case for your low beams, and the style of the lens here helps cast a brighter, wider beam than typical reflector style halogens. Now that means two things. Number one, you're going to be able to see better and further. And number two, having those standard type of bulbs here means that replacements are affordable and they're easy to source should you ever need them. Having projector lenses also means that it's safer and easier to upgrade bulbs to something like an LED later on down the line, especially as compared to standard reflector type halogens. Now the high beams down below utilize a standard H1 halogen bulb, again making replacements economical and easy to track down. However, it's not all standard bulbs here. In the center, you get some upgraded amber LEDs that function as part of your turn signals. Likewise, the LED light bars around the outer edges also function as part of your turn signals. These are going to light up a nice diffused white to function as your daytime running lights until you actuate the turn signal, when they're going to switch to amber. It makes for a cool modern aesthetic, especially combined with the black internal housings. And it does really evoke a Raptor-esque type of vibe, so if you're into that, you're going to like these. As with most aftermarket headlights we see, the outer housings are comprised of polypropylene, which is durable and lightweight. The lenses are made from the industry standard polycarbonate, so they should hold up well for quite some time. Moreover, these are also DOT and SAE approved, meaning that they are both fully street legal and that they also have integrated adjusters on the back so you can get them aimed properly. Pricing comes in at about $500 for the set, making them a more budget-friendly option, especially as compared to some of the others out on the market. Now, these will get you a lot of the style and functionality as some of the more expensive full LED setups, but you'll still have plenty of lighting output without having to spend a fortune to get it. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about 1 hour to complete. Now, there is going to be a bit of wiring involved to get those daytime running lights working properly. However, it's nothing too complex, and everything you need comes included in the box. Otherwise, everything is just going to plug in or bolt right up. That said though, let's head out to the shop and we'll walk you through it step by step.
For this install, you need a 3/8 ratchet, a 10mm socket, a 3/8 extension, a Phillips head screwdriver, or a 7mm socket, and wire crimpers. All right, today we're gonna be installing some headlights on our F-150, but first we're gonna watch a video how to uninstall the stock ones, and then we'll come back here to install the new ones.
Now the first step of the uninstall of our factory headlights is to get off this trim panel. Now the trim panel goes all the way around, and in order to completely remove this, we have to peel back some of our fender flare. Now if your truck doesn't have fender flares, obviously that makes life a little easier, but there still will be a couple of retainer screws back here. So step number one, I'm gonna use a panel removal tool. A flathead screwdriver works as well, but I find this to be a little easier. We're gonna peel up and pry off this little plastic rivet or the push pin clip at the top. From there, we'll move into our fender well. Now some of these can be pretty stubborn, so you might have to go side to side, back to back to get them to pop out. Once that top pops off, peel up under the bottom portion and we'll get it out of place. With the top part out of place, we're just gonna pry up under the bottom portion and set it aside. Now at this part on the back of our fender flare, there's 2 Phillips head screws. Now as you can see, we have one off already, but you can grab your Phillips head screwdriver and just remove both of them. Pretty simple. You wanna make sure you're holding on to these to be reinstalled later. All right, now that you have the screws out of place, we're gonna use the flat portion of a panel removal tool to pry up and out on that fender flare. Now you'll notice there are 3 clips retaining it to your fender right here. We're just gonna remove those 3 and detach it. And once you get the one at the top off, these second 2 are actually clipped in. So you wanna use the little pry portion of it, go straight in and pry out. You'll hear the snap, it'll detach. Now you see these clips are loosened at this point, at least this middle one is. You want to make sure they stay on the fender flare. You want it to detach from the trim panel and not detach from the fender flare to make it easier for the reinstallation. Now the bottom one, we're just going to pry in, pop right out. Now it's detached. So now we have this whole panel free, and we can use that to peel this off. So what we're going to do is pop this panel out and remove it from under the headlight. All right, from here, gently peel back onto the fender flare. You don't want to break it. There are more clips. If you want to remove more, you can. This is really all you'll technically need though. You want to pry back on this trim panel as much as you can on this portion. It'll detach, go over to your opposite side under your headlight, and start to peel back on that. They're really just snapped into place. So once you detach all the portions, you'll be able to set it aside. All right, at this point, grab a 10mm socket. I'm gonna use an extension to make life just a little easier here. There are 3 10mm bolts at the bottom of this black bezel. Get those off. All right, with that, this black trim piece will come, and we can gain access to the bottom of the headlight. Now at the top of your headlight, there are 2 10mm bolts. You want to get those out of the way as well. Now between the headlight and the grille, there's 1 more 10mm bolt tucked in a little bit deeper. You will need an extension for that. So we're going to insert that right into this little gap here. Go straight back, find the 10, loosen that up. If you pull straight back, it should come out with your socket. At that point, your headlight's completely loose and ready to come out. Pull straight back. Now you don't want to pull too hard because there are still wiring harnesses attached. You want to pinch, detach your bulbs, and now you can set your factory headlight aside.
All right, now that we have our stock headlights out, we just have to take a couple of our bulb sockets out to swap over to the new headlight. So we're gonna start with this one up here. We're gonna take that out and take our bulb out and set that aside. Do the same thing for this one. Take our bulb out and set the connector aside. You can do the same thing for the other headlight. All right, now we're gonna get our new headlight and swap over our connectors. Let's start with our small one up here. It's gonna plug in like the bulb would plug in. Put the excess wire inside and then just twist the socket in. Do the same thing for this one. All right, you just do the same thing for the other new headlight. All right, now we just have a small amount of wiring for the headlights. We have our supplied wiring harness that has 2 connectors on it. It's gonna go to each headlight. And then we have a power wire. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a spade connector on ours and tap ours into the parking light. So we already have T-taps on there. You can wire yours up however you want, but this is how we're gonna do ours. So we're gonna put our spade connector on and crimp that down. All right, now we're just gonna run our wiring. It's really simple. We have a shorter end and a longer end. Shorter end's gonna go over on our passenger side. All right, so we're gonna wire into our parking light harness. As you can see, we have the connector here. We already have connectors attached to ours. So we're gonna run our harness up through here and across to the top. All right, we're gonna leave our short wire exposed down here so we can plug it in. And then we are going to tap into our parking light. Then we can run the wire for the driver's side. All right, now we're gonna run our wire over to our driver's side. You can run yours however you want. How we're gonna do it is we're gonna take our intake up a little bit and then run it back down to where the factory harness comes out. So we're gonna take our clip removal tool and pop our 2 clips out. Just lift up on it gently and slide the wire behind. And you put your clips back in. You can take the wire, drop it down behind, and pull it through where the factory harness comes out. All right, so now we're gonna plug our harnesses into our new headlight. Start with the one at the bottom. All right, and then we have our harness that we ran. Just plugs in simply. All right, and then we have our last harness up top. And we can set our headlight into place. All right, we can start with our 2 mounting bolts up top. Grab our ratchet and our 10mm socket and tighten them down. All right, now we can put our last mounting bolt that's on the inside back here. So we're gonna use our extension and 10mm socket. All right, we're gonna put our plastic trim into place. Just pull back slightly on the fender flare. Get it in the location, and then we're gonna install our 3 10mm bolts. All right, we're gonna get our painted trim cover back on. Let's start by pulling the fender flare back slightly, getting this edge located. We can just give her a good tap in place, push the fender flare back on, and then reinstall our push clip on the top. All right, we can install our 2 screws for our fender flare now. Yeah, yours might be the Phillips head that we're taking out, or we have 2 7mm screws instead. Let's grab our ratchet and tighten them down. All right, now you just repeat the same thing for the other side. All right, and that wraps up our install of our Renegade Series DRL Projector headlights with a black housing and clear lens for our 2015 to 2017 F-150 with factory halogen headlights. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.